Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of It Starts With You. I'm the host, Anna Yu, here with Adam Glove. Adam is the founder of Affinity Nightlife, which is an event management company specializing in corporate functions and red carpet experiences. We were interested in learning more about his experiences in dating while working in the nightlife niche. We also had some questions on if he would have chosen a different path given a choice. Let's get started.
It's this AI company, Savvy, so they hired me first to try and get some influencers to do training. Then it was a preview for the largest show ever in China. I guess it got like 3 billion views. So they did like a big preview at their headquarters in downtown. And they called me about a car launch and some different stuff.
So can you tell me a little bit more about what you do? And of course, introduce yourself.
Yeah, so my name's Adam Glove. I'm the GOAT of nightlife, self-proclaimed. I throw the best A-list events in Hollywood, West Hollywood, after parties for different award shows, the Oscars, Grammys. Also, I get hired by different brands to curate events for them. Sometimes I'll get hired just to do certain aspects of events, whether it's bringing talent, doing the production, filling in gaps kind of as needed.
Okay. I've actually seen some of your reels and content recently.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of curious, what kind of things have inspired you to create content like that? Like the Snapchat stuff. Yeah,
why is everyone naked on Snapchat?
Yeah.
No, but why is everyone naked on Snapchat? Maybe you're not having the same experience because I stopped using Snapchat for probably 4 or 5 years. So all my videos are from 7 years ago. And then, so I don't know who those friends are, but literally when I first got on, it was naked men and women, just left and right.
Shit. That's weird.
It was weird. Yeah, it's it's one thing to see a girl okay, maybe she's trying to make money with her Cash App, but seeing guys
you don't want to
dick
see
all the time.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
They're not even trying to make money and it was disturbing. I had
flying
to have someone
dicks everywhere.
Seriously. And most of them were they looked like they were 12-year-old boys.
Oh gosh. Okay, that's weird.
I'm how am I even connected with this person?
Yeah. I'm on Snapchat.
Yeah, I mean.
Oh no.
No, I'm not gonna show you. I had someone go through and pretty much erase all the guys and.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm still figuring it out. Yeah, sometimes you have to remember these platforms. Like you said, I'm pretty into. So for a while I was doing Instagram and TikTok, and I built a really big community. But then when I stopped posting for sometimes a couple months because I get busy with consulting stuff or events, it falls off.
Yeah.
So I want to ideally get more consistent. But anyways, so for me, it's about being authentic, and I don't plan. So I do content days. I don't plan them at all. I'll just go in and whatever the heck is on my mind, I'll say it with absolutely no filter.
I love that.
And that's kind of how I've built up this community because I'm saying so many things that people are thinking or feeling, and they're kind of afraid to say because they're embarrassed, or particularly, whether you're an actor, an actress, if you're involved in entertainment, nightlife, hospitality, it's very incestuous. So people are so worried about what other people think or being canceled or this, that, I don't really care. I've been doing this for a really long time and whatever.
Yeah. I feel when you have no filter, then you just don't really care what people say. There could be pros and cons to that actually, right?
Oh, 100%. I mean, a big con would be is so many people start talking about you behind your back and they don't say anything. So it's kind of weird, knowing, I don't think that you're saying things, but, so many people that come up to you and act like they're your close friend,
yeah,
are talking shit to someone else.
Oh, wow.
Because it becomes kind of cool, like, wait, this person's saying that nightlife is trash right now, or that an opinion that is not pro certain things. So
yeah.
I'm just gonna act like I hate it, even though I know he's right.
That's not even your fault, though. Like, if it is going downhill, that's not even your fault, though.
No, I know, but like they say, if you ain't got no haters, you ain't popping. So
that's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
If you ain't got no haters, you ain't popping, dude. But it's very true, because I was at Coachella, and the owner of what now is it's the biggest nightclub to open in Los Angeles in the last like 3 to 5 years. He came up to me and just wanted to fight me, was like talking so much shit to me, based on a take that I'd had that wasn't even directly about his venue that he owned, but he kind of took it to assume that, and he's like, what the fuck, people try and feed their families and this and that. And it was just because I was from an insider's perspective, having done this for 15 years, just laying out what's going on with the hospitality landscape, why it's happening, and just keeping it real.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that.
Oh, yeah. I thought it was interesting, and it kind of made me realize that I was even more right. If he's basically like coming up to me, and this guy is pretty much a legend in what I do, saying, of course, bro, but you don't have to say it. Yeah. Like, people are listening. Like, I know, like, I got forwarded this like 1,000 times. And I'm like, yeah, I don't have to, but someone does, because you're not fixing it. You're just trying to do things the same way that's caused the problem.
Do you ever feel in this entertainment nightlife niche, like there are certain aspects where you can't really make any like real friends?
I don't have any friends. I don't have any friends in nightlife. I don't have any friends aside from nightlife. It's brutal. And it's 100% because of what I do and this addiction to feeling important in these small circles at events, clubs, parties, whatever it is you're going into. And what that's layered around that, obviously, is alcohol and everyone wanting you to be that fun party guy. So if all of a sudden you step back and say, like, well, I don't want to drink, why don't we go for a hike? Why don't we go to a comedy show, do something without drinking? No one wants to do it. And you're not the plug for that, So it's all, it's just, anyone who says differently is just cap and is trying to get people to attend or whatever it is. But yeah, everything is transactional. Like, it's really draining and disappointing.
Do you ever want to go into a different niche?
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, and I sort of am. So I slowed way down on the events. What I've been doing a lot more of is consulting. So right now I'm working with these celebrity dentists that are doing a gala. Their goal is to raise $1.5 million so they can open up a clinic that will give free dentistry services, whatever it's called, to underprivileged youth year round. And to me, like, that's much more motivating and purposeful than selling a bunch of tickets or sponsorships to an Emmy Awards after party or something where basically, like, I'm from LA. I know a lot of people that are known people, but having to pull on those ego buttons of people is not very rewarding inside.
I feel like that's very wholesome that you still are motivated to do that. Like,
to do the dentist thing.
Yeah. Like, if you had a choice, like, you would want to choose something else as well.
Oh yeah, 100%. I don't know how much time we have, but this wasn't the plan. The plan wasn't to get into working in nightlife. I was kicked out of multiple grad schools on different circumstances that happened, and I was just fucked up. I didn't want to, like, be in corporate America. I had a job with Johnson. It was all lined up with everything I'd worked for. my whole family, they're all doctors, lawyers, higher education, great schools, and I just felt like a failure. So I started working in nightclubs as an escape mechanism after finally finishing grad school in New York. And then it just became really hard to get out of. I know that this isn't it for me. Sometimes I was just telling an associate of mine on the car over, time and score. So make some money and then pivot into something that I can be around more people of more substance.
Wow, that's really inspirational, actually. Like maybe for people who are listening, they can actually be able to think about this, like there are other things than just like superficial stuff.
I hope so. I talk a lot to like my staff, people that, I have some friends, I was exaggerating a little bit, but a lot of those people, it is pretty transactional. But I definitely like everything that I'm saying, whether it's on social media or when I'm talking to people, is heartfelt and how I feel. And like one of the things that I'm proud of is that I know that I'm a good person. And it might be more work and hurt me a little bit in the short term, but I'm not saying things I don't mean or deceiving people or ripping people off. And a lot of people do that and make a lot of money, but I wonder how they feel inside. Probably not that great.
Yeah.
It's great to be here.
Yeah.
It's exciting for me because I think you might have seen like some of my content a little bit here and there, but I think I'm a little bit different from a lot of other people that curate events and things like that. From the standpoint of I have an MBA, I look at things from a more strategic perspective, and also I'm not continuing to paint a basket of roses, around certain things. I'm authentic in like both good and bad ways, things that make me happy, sad, passionate, not as passionate.
Yeah, no, I did see some of your content like before I asked you to come join us on the podcast.
Yeah. Well, what were some of your favorites?
I think like I did actually like the Snapchat stuff, like where you're very direct when it comes to like, and like very blunt, and it's just kind of like you said, like saying things that no one else will say.
Yeah.
And I kind of like that. It's kind of like no one's gonna say why are there naked people on Snapchat,
Yeah, I haven't seen that one. Yeah.
So it's just like, well, I haven't really thought about that in a while.
What was crazy to me about just that whole situation is the fact that, so I was like a club promoter straight up, 15 years ago, whatever. And a lot of these people now, they're not young, they're 30 plus. And even like, they're like in the car on the way to drop off their kids, like in a bra, you know what I mean? Or at the gym, like taking, and these are all just normal people. And so many of them, like, I guess that's kind of where you do that, but I don't know. This is supposed to be like a mental health type podcast.
Yeah.
It can't be, like, they can't, probably don't have the best self-esteem in the world if they're like, need this validation on Snapchat, of themselves taking a picture of their ass like as soon as they get up at like 6 a.m. I'm like, what is this? It's like, there's thousands of these people, it's, like the cover picture is like women in a bra or like all shapes and sizes, like fat, tall, black, white, Asian, Mexican, tons of tattoos, no tattoos, you know what I mean? It's like, just and yeah, maybe 5% is pleasurable to see if I was in that mood, which I'm not 24/7, and the rest is like, like people don't even want to see this. What is this bitch doing? It's just very strange.
What's actually really funny about that is that a lot of the
is that you have a Snapchat of?
I actually don't have a Snapchat, but what's funny is that like sometimes when I do go on Instagram, what I've noticed is sometimes like there are a lot of big people on there that are like out there?
Are you talking like fat or like have a big audience or following?
Like just big.
Like fat, overweight,
Yeah.
obese. Yeah, I mean most people are out of shape. I was thinking about that the other day. Like I've seen a couple people walking around that are really, really fat, and I don't have a problem with it, but I was thoughtful of like, how do you like wake up and like, I get it, like you're fired up to eat, but like knowing that like, you got to have some degree of introspection that your life is going to be shorter. You know, you probably are having like a bunch of health problems and things like that. And I don't know, just for me, like this whole idea of, you know, obesity being a disease and this and that, hereditary, I think is all cap. You know, I'm not insanely skinny, but you have to have self-control, you know, about what you eat, exercising, doing all that, you know, and if you just give up and let yourself go, maybe some of the comments are not that nice, but are come with the terrain a little bit. I don't know. I was telling Sharif, I'm very self-aware of like myself and my situation. I think if I was really fat, like I would take the punchlines with grace. I'd be like, yeah, I need to work out. You know, I need to stop fucking hitting up KFC and getting a 20 piece at 1 a.m. It's not worth it.
I think what's interesting actually is like when people do get into that space and they're wondering why they can't get a date.
Well, I mean, if you have money and you're a guy, then maybe it matters less. But then, you know, the girl most likely doesn't want you necessarily. You might have a great personality, but if you're really, really unappealing physically, there's probably not a physical connection. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, actually I have this girl in my building, mm-hmm. I think this guy is dating her for a green card, so that might be another option, but...
Wait, can you describe this?
Yeah, I mean, she's probably like 5'1", 250.
250?
No, maybe, I don't know. Maybe like two. I'm not good with these things. She's a big girl. And like the guy, I think he's from India, and you could tell he doesn't really speak English. And it just like, how did they meet? What's going on here? You know what I mean? And maybe that's leaning into a stereotype. But I'll say this. I don't know if I told you this, Shree, but I told someone this. I've actually found that a lot of stereotypes, I think on the surface, are fairly accurate. Mm-hmm. Obviously, everyone's so woke and like whatever. Like I'm Jewish, and most of, you know, my parents, people I know, were very well educated. They were cheap, you know, they were good with money, you know, all of this stuff people say. Asians, for example, to me, are typically very smart. Their parents want them to get good grades, all this type of stuff, like, you know, like other ethnicities liking a certain kind of food. It's like, yeah. And actually, it's a lot of what I do when my whole business, it's all relationship based, and I'll lean into that all the time, you know, and it seems to be fine as long as obviously you word things respectfully.
Yeah. So like, what would you say is some of the pros and cons of your business?
I mean, for me, just being the best at what I do is amazing. But I would be the best at anything that I did. You know, like, I just think different, and I'm able to, a lot of times, like, the greatest innovators see things before they hit, basically, like, servicing a need that people didn't know they wanted. And that's kind of what I did ahead of the curve from a production standpoint, by having, like, I have really big brands do gifting, and we'll partner with, I just have a good feel for, like, DJs and artists before they become really big, but they're starting to trend well. So we get a lot of pieces at the right time. And so it's good to be, for me, to be good at it. And it is a good sense of accomplishment when you put this event together and everyone is saying how great of a time they had and you curated that for them. The negative though is it's very hard to make money right now, just based on the economic landscape. Like you could have 50 people in here who do events, and if they say it's going really well and stuff like that, they're probably full of shit. It's very, very hard to make money. Less people want to buy tickets. People will, if you do have paid sponsors, they want to spend less money than they have in the past. And a huge thing is people are drinking a lot less. Yeah. So the way the venue makes money, or our venue partners, is through how much booze people buy.
Yeah.
I don't really care. Like if we went out, the three of us, to an event and you weren't drinking, like I would be the last person who's like, Anna, you're not gonna take a shot? What the fuck? Like who cares? But the venue, is like, we don't want you throwing events here anymore. They're not profitable for us. And you can't change the direction society is going in. So, that involves having to figure it out.
That's interesting. Like, so if people aren't drinking, then like, what do they do? Do they like do drugs, or like how do they?
It's a great question, and it's multi-layered. Like a lot of people ask me about, why are nightclubs, doing worse and closing, and why aren't people drinking as much? And there's a lot of factors, everything from the economy to people not having as much money to people having to work a lot more and being more thoughtful of that. But I think the biggest thing is a lot of bigger cities, like LA and New York are both, hospitality is down. It's thriving in Miami, but I think the biggest reason for it is people are sheep. And essentially the wave right now, what's cool, what other people are doing is not drinking, is not going out as much. If they do go out, it's that moment to say, I'm gonna get up at 5 a.m. and go work out, so I can't drink tonight. You know what I'm thinking in my head when someone says that? Why the fuck are you getting up at 5 a.m. to work out? What if you get up at 6? What if you get up at 7? Like, do you have to be at the office by 8? Like, most of these people don't, but it's just.
I mean, it's like when I think about like getting up at 5 a.m., it's like when I used to party like that, it's like, that's like when I used to wake up.
Yeah. Wake up at 5 a.m.
Yeah, from the party.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, oh, wait,
that's what
I woke up.
Yeah, it's different. But I mean, not everyone's like, but like there's a lot of, and I just did a post about this and I was talking about it. Like, it's a very interesting time. Like this girl on Snapchat, actually, she posted 5 months, and I instantly assumed that she was pregnant, and I was like,
oh shit,
congratulations, Jenner, whatever.
That's a bad sign.
Well, I couldn't see like her body or anything. I wasn't really paying attention, and she said, no, I'm 5 months sober. And,
oh no, Adam.
I mean, I didn't give a fuck about that, but like, I was like, who cares? Like what? Not that there's anything wrong with it, but like, it shows you the level. It's like a real badge, Now, granted, when she would drink, she would get very belligerent, and it was not the best. But there's a lot of people who they don't drink, but it's not this subtle thing. It's like they've already told you 50 times, and then within a 2-day span. And then like, oh, just reminding you guys, I'm not going to be drinking at this party. I'm like, I know. You won't stop talking about it.
But they do anyway?
No, they don't. But my point is that people latch on to like an identity, and a lot of times it's based on other people's identity that they think is relevant for some reason. And that could be like, only cool people go out during the week. I remember when I started in nightlife, the best nights were on like Monday, Tuesday. Like you'd actually see big celebrities, models, the most beautiful people. Now it's not that situation because most of those people have the opposite attitude in terms of why the heck would I be out till 2, 3 a.m. on a Tuesday?
Yeah.
You know, or why would I be drinking during the week? You know, I got to go to the gym tomorrow and do a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
But
I mean, like, I would still think that, like, like, celebrities, like, they don't want to actually be, like, seen too much, like, on, like, a weekend in, like, a crowded space.
It's a great point. So one of the reasons also why nightlife in places like LA, New York, these cities has gone down is because part of the reason why people go out is they want to be around these A-list celebrities that, you know, they wouldn't otherwise.
Yeah.
You know, and I remember I was at a basketball camp.
Yeah.
I was 9 years old. It was Jim Herrick's basketball camp. I ended up going to USC, but...
I went to USC.
Oh, okay.
Trojans.
Yeah, fight on. Hopefully we don't suck in football this year. But, oh yeah, he said alcohol makes makes everyone equals or something like that. And every time I hear that, I'm like, it's a good point. You know, like I think of the number of times I was like in an after party talking to Leonardo DiCaprio or some of these massive celebrities, and there's no way they would have remembered our conversation for the most part the next day. But in that space, all of a sudden you can meet anyone. But yeah, but those people, to your point, aren't going anymore. Social media obviously is a big part of it. You know, they're going to get blown up everywhere. They need to kind of be prepared. The perception of being in a nightclub potentially when they're filming something in LA especially isn't great.
Yeah, no, I agree with you on that. I feel like social media in part has made things a lot worse for like celebrities and people who are on screen a lot. Like it, because even just like one little picture can make their career like bad. Or remember that one picture of that CEO and like his mistress or whatever?
Oh.
Yeah, exactly. It destroyed his career.
Yeah, I mean, that was
like
not
that.
the best call on his part.
Yeah.
Necessarily to take his mistress to the Coldplay concert. But yeah, and also like I don't know. I've thought about that situation.
Yeah.
And like, not that I would cheat on my wife once I meet her. I won't. But hypothetically, if I put myself in someone else's shoes.
Yeah.
You just have to play the role.
Yeah.
Like the second that he started freaking out and like he tried to duck or something, that's what blew it up.
Yeah, exactly.
Because and the Coldplay guy's like, that guy's having an affair or something.
Yeah.
And that's why he got caught. If not, like I like to think I have like ice water through my veins a little bit. I think in that situation, I would have very clearly kind of time and score been like, okay, this is the best way to get out of this.
Yeah.
You know, rather than, to your point, it was the reaction that cost him his career, not the action.
Yeah.
And I would say also, like, I don't know if you ever think about this, but I do a lot. Like, one of the stupidest things I think people do is putting things in writing when they're emotional. And, like, letting that consume them mentally. You know, it's hard sometimes, but, like, if you think that someone did something that's messed up, if you're able to just take a breath, like as soon as you start just taking personal shots at people, things like that, like you can't unsend the email or the text message, and then all of a sudden it's like drama and days of this rather than just taking a breath and expressing it a little bit more subtly, like, yeah, you know, probably wouldn't have approached the situation the way you did, but let's move forward.
Yeah, no, I agree with you on that. Like, I think one thing that I find kind of therapeutic is just writing like a journal of how I feel. And then
what's in the journal?
Just like my day and like how
your day's been going.
Yeah. And like I think that's a lot more therapeutic, and I get to just kind of vent to myself in a way.
Yeah, I wish more people would do that. Like, I would say if you want to figure out a way to, like, I'm really chill. I rarely like I'm almost like a robot in that, like, I have very dry humor. I'm like very level-headed, maybe don't smile that much, aren't that up or down, but if you want to see a way to get me riled up, you know, just come in with the emotion and talk shit, you know, just because I feel like there's just no need for it, you know, especially if it's like the first time you're upset about something or whatever. Yeah, I don't know. Communication for me is massive. So what are your goals with this podcast?
With this podcast, I really want to help support people, try to have a community where people can express how they feel when it comes to both like their careers, their dating lives in LA, and their mental health.
What's the craziest dating story you've heard since starting it?
Well,
or maybe you have one.
I write down a couple in my journal, but those are like private stories.
Oh yeah. No worries. No need for. You're not the one being interviewed.
What about you?
Oh yeah, I have a million. I mean, it's very interesting going out on dates in LA and, you know, kind of having to play a lot of games, especially if you're not used to it. You know, like I'm more used to if I'm like you've kind of seen, just being like, yo, you know, you seem cool, we should hang out and see if we vibe, you know, rather than kind of waiting a certain amount of time before reaching out to someone or being a little bit more like indirect or, you know, Hollywood about whatever. But yeah, in terms of like bad dates, I mean, just some things that like I'm hyper thoughtful of that are definite, like just like golf, just red flags, just all over the table, and, you know, raining down on us. Hey, what do you want to do? And it's naming a bunch. Oh, actually, I have a good story. I didn't even meet this person, but we matched on Raya, this like invite only dating app, whatever, and she's like, hey, you know, what's up? I don't remember. So we started talking. I was like, well, you know, maybe we can hang out this weekend if you're not doing anything. She's like, oh, that'd be great. I'm like, let me get your number. I'll reach out. So we're kind of texting back and forth, and I'm like, you know, do you want to get together later on tonight? Let's say this is 2:00. She's like, yeah, absolutely. I'm like, okay, cool. I'll make us a reservation. And then I'm on the tour have you taken the tour at Warner Brothers?
I think so.
It's like a studio tour. They show you like where they shot Friends.
No, I don't think so.
Where Ellen's show was, stuff like that.
I wasn't.
So you're not supposed to use your phones during the tour.
No.
So we have like a break on the tour. I check my phone. There's like 4 texts from this girl I don't know. She's pretty, but, you know, I don't know her. And she's like, what's the plan? Where are we going? If I don't hear back from you within the next 20 minutes, I'm just gonna go out with my friends, you know, like I need time to get ready and I have to make plans. Okay, well, maybe we can hang out tomorrow, but I already made plans for tonight.
Oh.
And so I'm seeing these like boom, boom, boom. I just got off the tour and I'm like, you know, I told her I was on this tour too. I was like, hey, you know, I'm on this tour at Warner Brothers. We can do something tonight. She's like, no, tonight's not happening. Let's do tomorrow. I'm like, okay, I'll make us a reservation. So I'm sitting here like, there's probably an hour left on the tour. I kind of want to see some other stuff, but I'm sitting there like, you know, trying to pick a place that would be fun. I think I may have chosen like Il Fornaio or something like that. I don't know. It's not the most fancy place, but it's above that. It's a nice restaurant, like a vibe.
You still took her out?
Wait a second. So I asked her, I was like, I sent her the reservation. I'm like,
yeah,
we can go here at 8 or 9 tomorrow. She's like, that's way too far. I told you I lived in Beverly Hills. And the restaurant is in Beverly Hills, but apparently it's far from where she lived that I didn't know. So then I'm like, okay, what about this? And I sent her Delilah, which is more expensive, maybe West Hollywood, Beverly Hills. And she's like, I don't like that place. And I just responded like, look, I appreciate you taking the time to see if, you know, we might hang out, but the vibes are already just not it.
Yeah.
And she like replied just with this scathing text message like, you don't understand, what girls have to go through, getting ready. I have to pick an outfit that matches the restaurant, this and that. You're lost. I was like, okay, bro. But I'm like thinking, like, how does this girl meet anyone? It's like, you can't even get to the point where you're meeting with her because like you're missed out. And then I said, I forgot about this. I said, I don't care where we eat. And like her big response was, I care where we eat. Like I like food. I'm like, that wasn't my point. Like the point was to like see if
we vibe.
We can hang out and enjoy each other's company.
Yeah.
But it was.
That sounds kind of intense.
But I mean, imagine that, right? Like if you have connected with someone, like it was obvious she wanted to hang out, but it was already too difficult to even make a date happen. Like, how could you be with someone like that?
I mean, like, I feel like it kind of sounds like she might have had some anxiety, like from what I like what you're telling me, but I don't know the situation that well.
Oh yeah, who knows? I just reflect out a lot.
Yeah.
But one thing that I went off on the other day, that I'm going to be dropping some content on is like one thing that I think is really fucked up. Not only women but some men in Los Angeles in particular is all of the gaslighting.
Yeah.
So many women have fallen for the producer who's going to get someone in a movie or is going to makes all these empty promises that aren't backed up by any action, and they end up in longer relationships, and then essentially like they just keep eating bad fruit, and then they get like a really clean, beautiful apple, and they don't even want to look at it. Meaning that someone who is genuinely nice, like likes them for who they are, isn't just going to gaslight them and tell them what they want to hear, but now their guard is up, and literally the only way to get that guard down is to do all this gaslighting. And I see it a lot. Like when I was used to drink and party every night, I would had women around me all the time who seemed to like the fact that I was rude and not being a great guy. Now that like if I asked someone thoughtfully to hang out, in the past I would have thought it would be easier.
Yeah.
And oftentimes it's not.
I think like maybe it's just like what they're used to, and it's so hard to like break out of that cycle.
Yeah, 100%. Like I don't even get like a lot of people too. They work 6-7 days a week, and they don't do anything else. Like I don't know if you've ever noticed. Like I'll ask people how was their weekend, and there's kind of two types of people, right? Some people are like, oh, it's all right. You can tell they're kind of like not too excited by it, and the other person like, oh, it was awesome. I went to this murder mystery on Friday and Rufus du Sol on Saturday, and then they're back at work. But like, I'm thinking in my head, like, I have like kind of a vision of this person to some degree, but like they have a dog. So like I was talking to this girl, actually, it's an interesting example. She's turning 40. She's never been married, doesn't have any kids. I think lives with her parents. Her entire body is augmented, like huge tits, butt, everything. She's been in like different countries, Playboy. She has like millions of social media followers, a lot of them fake. And I was like, well, why are you have you traveled at all? No, I've never been out of the country. I don't want to leave my dog, like, have you ever like been close to getting married or having kids? Like, oh no, I'm just too busy, working for that. Doesn't really have a job, it's just like, I don't know, I think it just kind of shows you like the difference in generations. Like for me, like I'm not afraid to say thought I would have had children by now or been married. It's not that I'm gonna go order a bride from Russia tomorrow or anything, but family from Russia, whatever. But yeah, like I know that I think anyone who says that they're cool being alone, for the rest of their life is escaping their inner feelings. whether it could be maybe their real sexuality they're ignoring, or they have kind of misplaced shit because of childhood. I don't know, but like a lot of people seem to be like that, and I'm noticing more and more people like older, like maybe you don't notice it till you get older. Yeah. I don't know if you see this, like 32-year-old birthday, 40-year-old birthday, and it's like a bunch of 40-year-old women that are all single.
Yeah, actually, I have been noticing this, like, right? Recently, yeah. And a lot of them actually do go to, like, Nightlife as well, because, like, I used to hang out in Koreatown, like, a lot, right?
Yeah.
And if you're in Koreatown, they still go to Nightlife. And I do notice this. They are, like, a little bit older, but they enjoy single life.
Do you think they really enjoy it, though?
I mean, they say they do.
I'm sure they do, but like, I guess I'm talking more like in their, apartment or home alone. Are they the next day after 20 years of being hungover, they feel hungover, maybe just slept with some random boy that's like 10 years younger than them? Is that satisfying?
I don't know. Like, I can't really comment on that. I can't really say.
Yeah, no one's a mind reader. One thing that I'm thoughtful of is, so this girl called me the other day, and I hadn't seen her in at least 5 years, probably more. And she was calling me really wanting to party, and I'm like, oh, I don't really party anymore. I like to go hiking and do stuff like that. And she was just asking me all these nightlife questions, and I said, look, it doesn't matter what promoter you go out with. Like, it's all the same. And she kept saying, I'm 32. Where am I supposed to meet people? Yoga class? I was in a relationship for the last 5 years.
Wow.
And I was like, not necessarily yoga class, but I don't think that you're going to meet any friends that aren't just, party friends at nightclubs. And she just was, we talked for a little bit, and then she would repeat again the yoga comment, and her age. I just gave up and started talking to her about what she wanted to, and then realized that she wasn't trying to hear what I was saying.
So do people come to you sometimes for like relationship recommendations and things like that? Or like advice?
Not really. Over the course of my life, maybe, yeah, but like, I think a big reason is this, people like the gaslighting. Nobody likes it when someone kind of digs in a little bit and is like, okay, that's amazing that this guy, promised he was going to get you a role in that movie. What action has he taken towards getting you that role? And like, rather than, oh my God, you're dating this person that on paper or has clout for this reason or that. That's so cool. The things that I think are cool, some of those people kind of in that entertainment world maybe aren't trying to hear it.
I do agree with you on that. Like, I think in my earlier 20s, I do feel like I did fall for some of those things. I feel like that is like a very common thing. Yeah. Like when like a director or like, someone who's like trying to get you some part, like or like someone who works in that industry.
Or just dropping a lot of money on you.
Yeah. And it's a very common thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. And I think my point is that I think that's natural. If you're in college or in your 20s, to think that's cool. Think going out, partying, clubbing is cool too. And, occasion-based is cool when you're an adult. A birthday, bachelorette party, whatever. But when you keep getting gaslit, yeah. Like you met this dude when you were 24, or you met a bunch of guys between 22 and 28. They all, either took you out to a bunch of nice places and then stopped talking to you after you guys were intimate, or whatever the situation ended up being, where you left feeling bummed out that you were kind of used or manipulated, and then you don't make a pivot as you get older and kind of should get more mature away from that, that's when it's like, oh my God, bro.
Yeah.
You know, what am I supposed to say?
Yeah.
You know, even if sometimes people are really cool, but emotionally, you know, they're just not in a great spot.
Yeah. I think more people should write. Like, not long texts, but just a journal.
Yeah, I agree. I think social media also is rough. You know, I find myself getting in holes when I'm on it, but you know, the more you're on social media, whatever it is, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, hopefully not Snapchat, but you know, the more you're like comparing yourself to someone's highlight reel.
Yeah.
And what they want to see, and that's not reality. So, especially like with a lot of relationships, you know, just because people are married or been together for a long time, you know, you don't know what it's like, you know, they're alone behind closed doors.
That's true. Yeah. I agree with you on that. Thank you for coming. So that's pretty much it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I appreciate you taking the time. Love to come on anytime.
Can you share your social media so people listening can follow you?
Yeah, at Adam Glove. My company is Affinity Nightlife. AffinityNightlife.com, at Affinity_Nightlife.
Thank you for that.
Is this the best podcast you've done so far?
This is the only podcast I've done so far. If you enjoyed this episode, you can support our cause by going to buymeacoffee.com/AnnaYU. That's YOO. More support means more episodes. The link is in the episode description. Also, don't forget to visit our Instagram page for exclusive behind-the-scenes content at It Starts With You. And remember, it starts with you.